What if I told you that one artist has stayed at number one for so long that an entire generation of K-pop trends has come and gone, and he's still sitting on the throne? Not for a month, not for 6 months, not even for a year. We're talking about a record so extraordinary that it has now stretched beyond 2 full years, and it's still growing. And the artist behind this incredible achievement? BTS's Jin. Today, we're diving into the astonishing story behind Jin's latest milestone, why millions of fans continue to support him week after week, and how his influence seems to be getting stronger instead of slowing down. Because the deeper you look at the numbers, the more unbelievable this story becomes. According to the latest results from the global fan voting platform MyOnePick, Jin once again claimed the number one position in the K-pop individual weekly ranking. Now, on the surface, that may sound like another victory, another headline, another achievement. But when you look closer, you realize this is something much bigger. Jin received more than 10.1 million votes during the 3rd week of May alone. 10 million. Just think about that for a second. 10 million votes represent millions of moments. Millions of people opening an app. Millions of people taking time out of their daily lives. Millions of people choosing the same artist. And they all came together once again to place Jin at the very top. But here's the part that leaves people speechless. This victory marks Jin's 117th consecutive week at number one. 117 weeks. That's over 800 days, more than 27 months, nearly 2.5 years without surrendering the top spot. In an entertainment industry where competition is relentless and new stars emerge every day, maintaining such dominance isn't just difficult, it borders on impossible. Every week brings new releases, every month introduces new trends, every year changes the landscape. Yet through all of it, Jin continues to stand at the summit. And perhaps the most fascinating question is, why? What is it about Jin that inspires this level of loyalty? Because records like this don't happen by accident. They are built on something much deeper than popularity. When fans talk about Jin, they rarely start with statistics. Instead, they talk about how he makes them feel. They talk about his sincerity, his warmth, his humor, his kindness, his ability to comfort people during difficult times, and his willingness to remain genuine even after becoming one of the biggest stars on the planet. For many fans, Jin isn't simply a celebrity they admire from a distance. He's someone whose journey they've followed for years, someone they've laughed with, someone they've cried with, someone whose music and words have accompanied them through important moments of their lives. And perhaps that's why these numbers continue to grow. Because every vote carries a story behind it, a memory, an emotion, a connection, and those connections are proving remarkably powerful. What's even more impressive is that Jin's dominance isn't limited to weekly rankings. His success extends month after month as well. In April, he once again secured first place in the monthly rankings, extending his streak to an astonishing 28 consecutive months. 28 months. Try imagining any competition where the same person remains number one for over 2 years. It's incredibly rare. Yet Jin has transformed that rarity into a routine, victory after victory, month after month, year after year. And still, the support never seems to fade. In fact, many observers believe it is becoming stronger. That's because MyOnePick isn't simply another chart. It's a platform where fans around the world directly participate. The rankings are driven by people, real emotions, real dedication. That's what makes these achievements especially meaningful. They reflect the strength of a fandom that continues to show up consistently, regardless of changing trends or shifting attention. And if anyone still doubts the power of Jin's fanbase, there's more. Jin also secured first place in the K-pop solo category of the OnePick chart, extending another remarkable streak to 24 consecutive victories. Think about that. Different categories, different competitions, different rankings, yet the result remains the same. Jin at number one, again, and again, and again. At some point, it stops feeling like a lucky streak. It starts feeling like a legacy. A legacy built through years of trust between an artist and the people who support him. And that trust has become visible far beyond voting platforms. To celebrate his achievements, special reward advertisements recognizing Jin's ranking success were displayed along Gangnam Daero in Seoul. For several days, one of the city's most iconic streets became a celebration of Jin's accomplishments. Imagine being a fan and seeing those giant displays shining brightly in the heart of Seoul. Imagine the pride, the excitement, the feeling of seeing someone you've supported achieve yet another historic milestone. Moments like these become more than advertisements. They become memories. And while all of this is happening, Jin is simultaneously proving why he's one of the most beloved performers in the world. Because rankings tell only part of the story. The other part unfolds on stage. Right now, BTS is meeting fans across the globe through the BTS World Tour Arirang. Every stop has produced unforgettable moments. Every performance has generated new stories. And one thing audiences consistently mention is Jin's presence. The moment he steps onto the stage, something changes. The energy shifts. The crowd erupts. Thousands of voices come together. Thousands of lights begin to shine. And suddenly, the entire venue feels alive. Fans describe being captivated by his visuals, moved by his vocals, drawn in by his charisma. But perhaps the most impressive aspect is his consistency. Night after night, city after city, performance after performance, Jin continues to deliver stable live vocals that showcase both his skill and professionalism. In an era where audiences pay close attention to every detail, maintaining that level of quality is no small achievement. Yet Jin makes it look effortless. And maybe that's because what fans are witnessing isn't just talent. It's experience, growth, years of hard work hidden beneath every performance, years spent refining his craft, years spent learning how to transform a stage into an unforgettable experience. The result is an artist who can command attention with a single glance, a single note, or a single smile. But perhaps the most emotional part of this story is what these achievements represent. Because behind every record lies a journey that wasn't always easy. A journey filled with challenges, expectations, sacrifices, and endless effort. Fans have watched Jin evolve from a young dreamer into a global superstar. They've seen his victories, they've witnessed his struggles, they've celebrated his milestones. And through every chapter, they stayed by his side. Now those same fans are watching history unfold. Week after week, month after month. Record after record. And every new achievement feels like a shared victory. Not just for Jin, but for everyone who believed in him along the way. That's why 117 consecutive weeks at number 1 means so much. It's not merely a statistic, it's a symbol of loyalty, a symbol of perseverance, a symbol of the extraordinary bond between an artist and millions of people around the world. And perhaps that's the biggest reason this story continues to resonate. Because in a world where trends change overnight and attention shifts constantly, Jin's success tells a different story. A story about consistency. A story about trust. A story about genuine connection. And judging by everything we're seeing right now, from record-breaking votes to sold-out arenas and passionate fans across the globe, that connection is stronger than ever. The question is no longer whether Jin can continue making history. After 117 consecutive weeks at number 1, that question has already been answered. The real question is this: how many more records are waiting for him? How many more milestones are still ahead? And how much larger can this incredible legacy become? Because if the past 2 years have taught us anything, it's that every time people think they've seen Jin's peak, he finds a way to climb even higher. And the world can't stop watching.